Hey world, welcome back to another episode of Be Inspired Podcast where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. I got another awesome guest on the line. You guys know him from the last interview, but this time he's coming back to talk about tax season. Tax season for everybody is like a big thing, the most money some people ever hold. And then we go out and buy different things such as cars, houses, all this type of stuff, right? So I brought him on here to share some of the things to look out for when purchasing a car during tax season, which I think will benefit a lot of our guests on here. So before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Creative Dream Collective, who creates our flyers. She creates t-shirts, all that good stuff. So if you need anything like that, definitely reach out to her. Her link will be in the bottom. Before we get started, I just want to thank all the subscribers, everyone that tune in, everyone that subscribe, like, share, and comment. If Tony says anything at all that resonates with you, definitely jump in the comments. Let's have a conversation. All right. So, Tony, welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to be back.
All right. Let's get started, man. So, tax season is here. A lot of people that refund check, it's a green light for you. You know, you got it in a bank account. Now what? You going out to the car dealership, looking for a Camry, a new Toyota, a new Corolla, whatever it is, but you don't know exactly what to look for and you don't know what to do actually when it comes to getting a car. What's some of the biggest mistakes that you see people make when buying a car during tax season?
Few things I'll say I see people have done before is a lot of time they get a car based on what they may like. Like so some people might be like, hey, well, I like to get a BMW, which everybody knows a luxury vehicle without doing the research to see what something like simple like tires could cost. Because a BMW is good until it's broken. Yeah, so you might buy a
Yeah,
BMW and realize, hey, I like the car, it drive good, but if you need tires, you might spend $1,500, $2,000. So a lot of time doing research and make and model is good. Also, knowing your budget because you might want to buy something like a BMW, which is a good car if you can afford it. And you could probably get something more like maybe something within your price range, like a Lexus or Acura, which is the luxury model of the Toyota and Honda, which could be equivalent but still save you money in the bank. So a lot of time I see people buy cars just based on their likes versus doing actual
right.
research.
So it sounds like you're saying like, yes, buy the car that you want, but also check out if you're able to handle the budget, the maintenance costs
Yes.
throughout the year, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah,
Because,
because yeah, go ahead.
I was saying one thing I also see is like with buying a car, I always think of it like a lot of key things you could look out for is like the year of the car. So let's say if you're looking at to buy a car, it's a 2015. We're now in 2026. Just knowing that that's 10 years. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
human being in a sense. I mean, we think of it when we're 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old. The older you get, the more it needs. So a lot of time, the year could make a difference. Of course, you could look at stuff like the mileage. That's important too. So there's a few things you could look out.
Okay, so what would you say is a safe mileage to look at, mileage range when you're looking at a used car?
Honestly, it varies, and it varies for a lot of reasons. Like, you have different manufacturers where, like a Honda, like I've owned an Acura myself, so I'm talking from experience. I was able to get 300,000 miles out of it, but that was with continuous maintenance, continued upkeep. So some manufacturers is more known for more issues than others. So a lot of time it varies. I mean, what really helps, I would say, is I always have the customer, if it's something at a dealership, ask them if they have a Carfax. Carfax is like kind of like you going to the doctor and getting blood work, and they say, "Hey, I run your blood. This is what I found." Same thing for a Carfax. The next thing that's good is maybe have this car been in any accidents? They might say no, but if you look at a car and you realize I have a blue car and now I have a black bumper, something happened.
Yeah.
One thing also you could look for too is, let's say if it's like 80 degrees outside, you start this car up and it's smoking light, it's fine. But if you see it's chugging like a train, walk away. Something ain't right. So I mean, it's a couple of things, but one other key thing is good too is if you could probably walk with somebody, a technician or a mechanic that knows about cars.
Yeah.
Or even
Yeah.
if you could probably speak to like a relative. Like I know like a lot of times some females go there and They take a check and say, "Hey, I'm gonna get this car based on how it looks," which is fine, but a good looking car is not good if it can't run. So even maybe
Yeah.
they could go there with a dad or uncle where at least maybe they might know about cars, or if they find somebody that could do like a vehicle assessment prior to the purchase, it really helps.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
looking to just bringing somebody along that
Yes.
knows
That
what they're
knows.
looking for
Yes. Yes.
and not gonna just listen to everything the seller is saying, right?
Basically, yes. I mean, everybody have a job to do, and there's nothing against. I mean, for me, it really hurts me as a technician when I know, like I said, a single mom go there and spend a whole check. And she buy this car that she thinks gonna last her 3 years, and then 3 months in, it can't move.
She got do a oil change, a transmission change,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
replace the head gasket.
Yes. Basically, and those are expensive repairs, or replace the whole engine. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
repairs where it could set you back if you don't plan for it. Honestly.
Okay. So say somebody bring a car to you for like a pre-check, pre-purchase inspection. What's some of the key things you looking for, or the first thing you looking for?
Okay. The first thing I do with anybody that's selling, I always make sure it's fine that the seller is okay with us being there to inspect the car. Because I have time where a buyer might say, "Hey, Tony, I have a car I'm looking for," and they bring me with them, and I was like, "Oh, if you're gonna look at it, I can't sell it." And at that time, to me, that shows a red flag because if you're selling something, anybody should be able to look at it freely.
Yeah.
But some of the key things I would look for is, like I said, the year of the car. And from being in the field, once you know the year and makes, it's kind of like somebody that do carpentry. They could come and tell you, "Hey, this measurement gives you this." So from certain makes or model, I'm familiar with, okay, well, this year make does this problem and has these issues. So I kind of know what to look for along with my colleague as well. He been in the field a while. So a lot of time, depending on year, make, and model, we familiar with the issues. But some of the things I look for is like the year, for one, because a lot of time the year range may have specific issues. Mileage, that's important because the mileage is going to let you know how long the car's been in service, how long it's been running. Like I said, I'll try to get a Carfax because the Carfax will let me know,
Yeah, the
even if you
Carfax.
own it before, has the previous owner have done like oil changes or the maintenance is required. So the Carfax. Next thing I look for too is, does a panel, and when I say the panel, the body parts. Let's say if I look at the hood, and everybody could know what even gap look like, but let's say if the hood is more shift right than left, that let me know somebody took it off and didn't put it back on good, or it been to a body shop or it been in an accident. Next thing I look at too is in the engine bay. I look for like signs of maybe parts that could have been changed, or even I might see something where like might have an oil leak where it probably leak on the alternator. That could damage it going on the roads. From being in the field, I have kind of few things I look at. Definitely look on the underbody. And then most importantly, I have a scan tool which I could connect it to the car, which based on my training, I'm able to read the data or codes or any issues I have with the car.
So all of that you're able to do, like if you're in front of the salesman will let you plug in your uh scanning tool, diagnostic tool and check it for a diagnostic or
Yes, but I mean, most of the times, like if I go to a car, like the last used car dealership I've been to, I say, "Hey, I'm just coming on behalf of, I can't discuss the customer name to look at her car. Are you aware that I'm coming?" They says yes, and they give me the key, and then I'm able to do what I need. But I've had one time I was going to purchase a car, and this was a personal purchase, and we drove the car, we look at the car, and he's like, "Hey, where you going with that scan tool?" I said, "Well, if I can't plug this in, we ain't gonna make a purchase." And at that point, he let me look at it, and I did find some codes that wasn't too. When I say codes, I mean like fault codes or stuff that would turn on a check engine light.
okay.
So you have some salesmen that allow it and others they don't because they already know the car could have unknown issues that they don't want to be presented prior to the purchase. I'll put it like that. Yeah.
Have you ever had a bad experience with a salesperson trying to sell a car and you interrupt and it's it?
So there was one time I look at a car for a customer. And I mean, like, if you hire me, Sammy, you say, "Hey, Tony, go look at a car," you want me to tell you the truth. So
Yeah,
after I had my
for sure.
findings, what I did is I disclosed the truth in front of the salesman and it didn't go well. He was like, "So how can you do this? Like, what are you doing?" "I gotta eat." I say, "Yeah, but I gotta eat too." But I was hired to do a job.
Yeah,
So I mean, a lot of time I'll find better ways to present the customer information without it being a conflict, if that makes sense.
yeah. So I guess that moment just teach you like take it back to your office, take it away from the salesman.
Yes. I mean, even I had one I did recently where I think the person that was selling the car watched my face, I watched this, but I just kept it close till I left just for, I mean, a lot of time it's for different reasons. It could be for safety, of course, or just
Yeah.
to prevent a conflict. 'Cause they say, "Oh, what you think?" I'll be like, "It's okay." And that would be it. Yeah.
So, what's a problem that might seem small but could turn into something big, a bigger expense later on?
I've seen it. Okay, let me see. I mean, like sometimes, like people will buy car like that's making a noise, and they say, "Hey, well, I
Mhm.
told me when I bought it was making a little noise, but now I've been driving, it's making more noise." Which the thing is, with a noise, it could be anything.
Yeah.
A noise could be anything. Sometimes I've even found it where it could be something inside the cab. And when I say inside the cab, inside the vehicle that's loose, that's rolling around. I've had that before with a customer, or it could be an engine noise, or a wheel bearing noise, or just any kind of noise. But to me, it's like few things you look at. If you start a car and you hear a noise you're not sure about, at that point, stop. Don't worry about how the paint look. Don't worry about how good it looks. Stop, because something ain't right. And I think most people know what an engine's supposed to sound like. So
Yeah.
to me, anything that would throw a red flag, you kind of don't overlook it. Because I've seen it where people be like, "Well, Tony, I saw it was smoking, but I thought it'd go away." And I'll be like, "Not really. That was a sign." But see, in the process of the purchase, you're so caught up in, "Hey, I need a car," or "I need to purchase something." So you kind of see the signs but overlook it. So it's kind of like they say nowadays, a red flag. If you see a red flag, you stop. Or even if you're so caught up in the purchase, hey, let me call a dad, or let me call an uncle or a brother that says, "I'm looking at this car here." Is because at that point, then they from the outside could get involved and be like, "Okay, well, if that's going on, something ain't right." I've seen it where a customer would look at a car and they'll make the purchase that they come back another day with someone that could kind of look it over with you, like a second pair of eyes or a second opinion. That helps too.
So, let's talk about the money side. We talk about the mechanics
Money's
about it, right? So, how much should someone realistically budget for repairs after buying a used car?
so here's the thing. So when okay, well, excuse me. So if you look at it, everything now costs a lot, especially the newer cars because everything is computerized.
Yeah.
To me, it might sound like a lot, but I would say like a safe budget, and this is not nothing set in stone. I mean, every car is gonna vary, but if you're gonna buy a car, especially used, I would say budget at least 1,000 to 1,500 dollars more, just in case you find something. Because let's say you buy the car and everything is good, but you need tires. Something that could run you $700, $800 to 1,000, and of course that's for the more better brand of quality ones. Now you could buy the cheaper ones, which I mean might be $200, but then last you 6 months. So I would say, I mean, if you're gonna purchase a vehicle, always have a budget aside for repairs. Because
Yeah.
even something simple like a battery could be $200.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe believe it or not, yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
with everything going up, like I say, like the parts, I've had one time I quoted a customer like less than a month, and then I called them back and I said, "Oh yeah, that part went up $10, $15, $30." So yeah,
So, man, inflation hitting the car market too with parts then.
yes. And then even the next thing we kind of been monitoring too is not just the price, but I mean, even with some parts because of where it's made, it's kind of hard to get. So that's a next issue where we kind of been monitoring as well. Because if you can't
Okay.
get a part, the car can't work unless it could be rebuilt or, probably refurbished.
Okay. So, say you gone and you hear the dealer say, "Hey, this car runs great, ain't got no issue. Hey, you're good." What's your honest reaction to that?
So, I mean, the thing is, that's what I expect them to say. So, of course, I say, yes, okay, but I'm still going to look at it. Because I say, for the average person, they take it with grace, like, hey, okay, everything is good. But being in the field a while, you kind of know what to look for, what to expect. And I mean, I've worked on both sides of it, where I work at the dealership level, the private level, and even in fleets. So, but fleets is different because you're not making a sale. On a dealership level and private level, you find it where a customer might say, or the salesman might say, everything on the car is fine. But like I say, if somebody's selling a car, it's for a reason. So a lot of time when we go there, it's more like, okay, let me figure out what's the reason. And then there are times I've looked at a car where they probably had the car and it's in good condition to be sold. So it does varies. And then one important thing I just thought about that's good if you're gonna buy a car, especially used, if it have a warranty, that means the dealer is saying, hey, what I'm selling you back. If he says as is, and it could be for many reasons he says as is, but if it's as is basically mean after you sign a paper and you leave, whatever I have going on is your problem. That's one thing I could take away. Yeah. If you have a warranty, be willing to back it.
When looking for used car, just always make sure they got a warranty or some kind, even if it's like a 30-day warranty or
Yes.
a 3-month warranty, find
Yep.
something.
Something. Yeah. And I always get a second opinion. Like I say, I've learned like sometime, and even in personal life, you might feel like, hey, I need this right now, but taking a second day could kind of give you where you could get a step back where you drive it for a second time and realize, hey, I didn't see this. They won. But now you drive it a second time, you saw it or you found the issue. Like kind of just don't rush into the purchase. Like, I mean, we all done it before. Like even myself, I've bought a car one time where I thought it was good. The head was blown, and by the time I caught on, it was too late. So it was a process, but I mean, we still got it resold and stuff. But yeah, so just rushing into anything, just sometimes take a step back, analyze it, and then proceed if it
And
helps.
then even to that point, because you rushed in, you got it. What can you tell somebody that did rush in and now they all the way in, they done paid their money? What can they do now?
That point to me, I put it like this: you just gotta figure out where to level the playing field. Cause like for me, I could speak on my personal experience. So one time I had a one of the guys I work for back home send me some money. I say, hey, I have this car that was damaged. Can you find me one? So I went, found a car, thought it was a good car, but then I bought it with a blown head gasket because at that time it wasn't showing the sign. So from that experience, it really taught me like what to look for. So at that time when we got it, I mean, the only issue I had was trying to get it retitled, which later on after a couple of conversation, the guy was able to give me a good title. Because with a title, you can't make no errors. So there was an error on the title, which prevented me from passing it from the previous owner to me. But if you do rush in at that time, your best bet is get someone that could kind of help you to figure out, okay, I did buy a bad car, but what would be my best options for keeping it running? Because you don't want to buy a bad car and then you go to this shop and he charge you a price here, and then you go to the other shop and they charge you a price here, and then you still don't have a working car. So if that do happen, you want to get someone that could say, okay, hey, you did buy a bad car, but what are my options? Does like kind of weigh your options. You know, he doesn't want to rush in and say, hey, well, one guy say, hey, well, if you put this part on it, fix it, and then by the time you look, you're thousands of dollars in and you still don't have a functioning car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you done spend your tax money. Now you don't got a car. Now you
Yeah.
catching the bus and
Yeah. Or you're
it
cutting
ain't
into your
really where you
personal
want it.
savings. That's true.
All right. So Tony, what's some last minute tips that you got that I didn't ask?
Let me see. One thing you didn't ask that I could think of. I think you asked most of the important questions. Let me see. Like I said, definitely, like I would say, that's like get a second opinion. Like it helps. Or at least speak to someone that could at least, if they don't know about it, at least kind of know what they're talking about because it helps when you're going to purchase a vehicle. Because that's what I was gonna say. Like something like a vehicle is a like a tool for life. Like if you look at it now, everybody we have to have a phone. We have
Yeah.
to have a car. Unless you live in an area where the public transportation is very efficient, you know, you have to have a car. So something like an investment like a car is a large investment next to a home. So you kind of want to make sure you take your time where you have something that could last and that's reliable. And of course, somebody to maintain it. But one thing I would add too is if you have a vehicle, think about it like yourself. With yourself, you're gonna make sure you maintain yourself. So you do the same for a car. You know, if you realize I've had this car 5 years and the only thing you done an oil change, probably need to do a little more than that. Whether it's like a tune up or even something like speaking to someone and say, hey, for this mileage, like what's required of the car? What is to be inspected? You know, because to me, preventative maintenance kind of save you major breakdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And when you were saying that, the thing I came to my mind is Hondas, man. Hondas are really good cars,
If you take
especially
that.
on mileage.
If you take that, I'm telling you, those cars, I mean, I didn't really come out here to like back one manufacturer and the next, but as an example, if you take care of it, it will last you a long time. But then keep in mind, like, just like our cars, they get older, like us human beings, as we get older, we might not be able to do stuff we did when we was younger.
Yeah.
Like, maybe at the age of 10, you could have done a backflip and stick the landing, but by the time you reach 30, it's like, you try to backflip on your knees, say, not today.
Yeah, yeah.
Safe on car. You know, so the same concept. I mean, the older it gets, the more it requires. Because I've had customers that be able, well, I've had this car for 20 years. I never had to do this. But then, like I say, if you compare it to a human being, if you think of some the time I was born to 20 years, a lot changed. We have a
Yeah.
lot of wear and tear on our bodies. Same thing for a car. You know, a car is going every day. It's driving in
So,
different conditions. So yeah.
okay. So I got a question from the chat and it's the question is the white smoke different from black smoke in the car?
Yes. So the color smokes is different. So when you see white smoke, most of the time it's a head gasket. Yeah. Blue smoke is oil burning. And then I don't really think you see red smoke unless it's tuned, and I could be wrong, but like a white smoke, where that comes from is like when the coolant get in the cylinder, which man, I'll
Okay.
get do another thing. But when the coolant get in the cylinder, it goes through the exhaust system, and then that's where it comes out the tailpipe. When it's blue smoke, oil is getting in the cylinder, and then it comes out the tailpipe.
And
Yeah,
then
so
what if it's black smoke?
if it's black smoke, it could be like sometime like excess fuel, or maybe it could be like one component failed, so it's showing black smoke. And that's also have like most like on a gasoline engine. A diesel engine, that's a whole different topic. It could be on multiple stuff.
Okay, all right. I ain't think much people buying diesel engines
You
during
never
tax
know.
season,
You
but
never know. I mean, there are some trucks that's like Cummins and stuff, you know. And I mean, here's the thing: on a diesel, if you see black smoke, it's not always bad because there are some guys that have it tuned where once you
yeah,
press the gas full, it blows smoke. So it's not broken; it's just how it's tuned or designed. Yeah, so it varies. We probably have to do a next one for like the smokes and the symptoms. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What's the like a consistent problem you seen during tax season like that always come up?
Okay, well, like I say, what I say is like people just rush in to buy a car, and a lot of time it's just without
No, a
guidance.
problem with the car.
Like I mean, a bad
Yeah.
engine, a blown head gasket, or even like transmission issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and like I say, with those, there's few ways to find it, but you got to know what you're looking for.
So, Tony, I want to thank you for coming on here, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise. I appreciate you coming on. Buying a car isn't just about what looks good on the outside, it's about what's going on under the hood. And
Yes.
as you heard today, a little knowledge and the right questions can save you a lot of money and stress. So
Yeah.
before you spend that tax refund, make sure you're making a decision for your future will thank you. All right. So,
Yeah.
guys, thank you all for watching Be Inspired Podcast. If you like this episode, go ahead and click like on the on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're watching. If you anything that Tony says resonate with you, go ahead and comment below. All right. And we'll see you on the next episode of Be Inspired Podcast, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life. Have a good week, guys.
All right. Have a good week.